I uploaded 30 videos expecting consistency to eventually move my channel forward. It didn't. And the interesting part isn't that the experiment failed, it's what the data actually shows about what consistency can and cannot do for a small YouTube channel. Because before this experiment, I had a pretty common assumption. Keep uploading, keep improving, keep showing up. Eventually, YouTube will recognize the consistency and start giving the channel more distribution. So I tested it. 30 long-form videos. And after looking at the numbers, I don't think consistency itself is what moves the algorithm. Here's what happened. When I split the 30 videos into 3 groups of 10, the pattern was not a steady climb. The first 10 videos had a median of about 315 impressions. The middle 10 reached 684, and the newest 10 dropped back to 450. So yes, the final 10 performed better than the first 10, but there was no consistent upward trajectory. If consistency was steadily increasing distribution, I'd expect the numbers to keep moving in one direction. They didn't. And the same thing happened with views. The first 10 videos had a median of 8 views, the middle 10 had 19, and the newest 10 had 16. Again, there is improvement compared with where I started, but there is no evidence of some magical point where YouTube suddenly decided, okay, this creator has uploaded enough, let's start pushing everything. That didn't happen. And this is where the experiment gets interesting, because some individual videos completely broke away from the rest. One video reached more than 21,000 impressions, another reached more than 16,000. And these weren't the result of suddenly becoming a completely different creator. They happened during the same overall period when other videos were still getting hundreds of impressions. That's the part I couldn't ignore. If consistency itself was the main driver, why would videos published during the same consistent period have such dramatically different distribution? The answer appears to be much simpler. The individual video mattered more, and specifically, the topic and packaging mattered a lot. The two biggest outliers were both directly related to YouTube growth. One was about getting 17 views on a previous video and examining the actual studio data. The other was about how to blow up a new YouTube channel with one killer idea. Those topics had something my weaker videos didn't. They were immediately relevant to the exact audience I was trying to reach, and they created a reason to click. That matters because you can upload consistently and still make videos that nobody urgently wants. Consistency doesn't change that. You can publish Monday, then Wednesday, then Friday. You can do that for months. But if the topic doesn't create enough interest, the upload schedule itself doesn't manufacture demand. And my own numbers make that painfully obvious. My CTR was also low overall. Across the groups, the median was roughly around 2%. The newest can actually improve to about 2.1% from 1.9% in the first 10. So packaging got somewhat better. Retention also improved. The median average percentage viewed went from 19.3% in the first 10 videos to 26.5% in the newest 10. That's a meaningful improvement. But here's the uncomfortable part. Subscriber conversion was still basically zero at the median, so I was improving some parts of the videos without seeing the kind of channel-level growth I expected from simply continuing to upload. And that tells me something important. More videos don't automatically equal momentum. They give you more opportunities. That's different. Think about it like this. If you throw 100 fishing lines into the water instead of 10, you've created more opportunities to catch something. But you haven't changed the number of fish in the water. You haven't automatically made your bait better, and you haven't guaranteed that the right fish are even there. That's roughly how I now see consistency. Consistency increases your number of attempts. It doesn't guarantee that those attempts will work. And there's another problem with this experiment that I need to admit. My channel was perfectly controlled. I experimented with different topics. I mixed different subject areas. And some topics were clearly more relevant to the audience I was trying to build than others. That means I can't honestly say I proved that YouTube consistency doesn't work. I didn't prove that. What I did show is much narrower. On this channel, across these 30 videos, consistently uploading did not produce a clear, sustained increase in distribution. That's what the data supports. And there's a huge difference between those two statements, because there's another argument you could make. Maybe consistency was helping. Maybe the channel would have performed even worse if I hadn't uploaded those 30 videos. That's possible. In fact, the median views did increase from 8 in the first 10 to 16 in the final 10. So I can't pretend absolutely nothing improved. Something did.
The channel's baseline may have improved somewhat, but the improvement wasn't strong enough to explain the huge differences between individual videos. That's the key. The biggest changes weren't happening because I kept uploading. They were happening when I found the topic that people actually wanted. Look at the difference. Hundreds of impressions on one video, then tens of thousands on another. Same channel, same creator, same general upload period, but completely different video. That is why I'm becoming much less interested in the question, how often should I upload? And much more interested in, why would someone choose this particular video? Because that's where the leverage appears to be. A consistent creator can produce 30 mediocre opportunities. A creator with one genuinely compelling idea can sometimes outperform all 30. And that's exactly what happened in my experiment. Now, this doesn't mean consistency is useless. That's another extreme conclusion I don't want to make. Consistency can help you learn. It gives you more data. It gives you more opportunities to test topics. It gives you more chances to improve your thumbnails. It gives you more chances to understand your audience. And it can help you build a library of content. But those are benefits of repeated experimentation. They are not proof that YouTube rewards you simply for uploading on schedule. That's the distinction I completely underestimated. I thought the upload itself was the progress. Now I think the learning from each upload is the progress. If video number 10 fails and video number 11 is basically the same experiment with a different title, thumbnail, topic, and hook, you haven't learned much. But if video number 10 fails and you understand why it failed, then video number 11 can be substantially better. That's a completely different approach to consistency. You're not uploading just to maintain a streak. You're uploading to run another test, and that changes how I look at my own analytics. Instead of asking, did I upload this week? I should be asking, what did this upload teach me? Did people ignore the topic? Did they see the thumbnail but not click? Did they click and leave? Did they stay but fail to subscribe? Did search find the video? Did browse find an audience? Did the video attract people who actually care about the channel? Those questions are much more useful than simply counting uploads. Because my experiment produced another interesting result. High impressions didn't automatically mean high views. One of my strongest distribution videos had more than 21,000 impressions, but only a 1.5% CTR. So even when YouTube gives a video a large opportunity, the packaging still determines how many people take that opportunity. And that means impressions aren't the finish line. They're the opportunity. CTR determines how many people enter. Retention tells you what happens after they enter. And the topic determines whether there is enough potential demand in the first place. That's a much better mental model than just keep uploading and eventually the algorithm will notice you. I wish that were true. It would make YouTube much easier. But my 30 video experiment didn't show me that. It showed me something more frustrating. You can work hard. You can upload consistently. You can improve your videos and still have individual uploads performed completely differently. The algorithm doesn't appear to care that I worked harder on video number 27 than video number 3. It cares about what happens when viewers encounter each individual video. That's why one of the biggest mistakes small creators can make is confusing effort with evidence. You know how much work you put into a video. The viewer doesn't. You know that you spent 6 hours editing it. The viewer doesn't. You know that you researched the topic for 2 days. The viewer doesn't. They see a thumbnail, they see a title, they make a decision, and then they either continue watching or they don't. That's brutal, but it's useful because it means the goal isn't to prove how hard you worked. The goal is to make something that earns the viewer's attention. So after 30 videos, here's where I land. Consistency is valuable, but consistency by itself isn't a growth strategy. It's a testing strategy. The real strategy is finding topics people want, packaging those topics clearly, delivering on the promise, studying the response, and then using what you learned to make the next experiment better. And if you're a small creator currently thinking, maybe I just haven't uploaded enough yet, be careful. That might be true, but it might also be the excuse that keeps you repeating the same mistake 30 more times. If your last 10 videos are underperforming, uploading 10 more identical videos isn't necessarily the answer. Maybe you need a better topic. Maybe you need better packaging. Maybe your audience is unclear. Maybe your content isn't giving viewers a strong enough reason to choose it.
And maybe, like me, you need to stop treating the upload count as the scoreboard. Because after 30 videos, my biggest takeaway isn't that hard work doesn't matter. It does. The problem is that hard work and effective work are not the same thing. I uploaded 30 videos. The channel didn't suddenly unlock a new level of distribution. What I got instead was something more useful. Evidence. Evidence that some topics can generate dramatically more reach. Evidence that consistency doesn't protect a weak idea. Evidence that better retention alone doesn't guarantee distribution. And evidence that every upload is only valuable if you learn something from it. So I'm not stopping, I'm changing what I'm testing, because if 30 uploads taught me anything, it's this. Don't just upload more. Make each upload teach you something.